Welcome back, YouTube, to another day in the House Money channel. Tonight I just sold out of 21 positions, so I will go over those positions as well as collecting some principal. So we're gonna jump right into it. I purchased $1.17 of GEM. That's a Goldman Sachs ETF. I sold one share of this ETF out of my Fidelity account, or maybe Ameritrade, one of the two, either Fidelity or Ameritrade. I get them mixed up. That share was $37.28. That's how much it was worth, and my profit was $1.17. So I purchased that fractional share in my Robinhood account. Then I purchased $8.94 worth of CIIC, which is a SPAC. I sold one share of this SPAC out of my Ameritrade account at $28.65. So Ameritrade doesn't offer fractional shares, so basically I took the profits and bought them in Robinhood. Yes, I bought them at a higher share price, but I mean, it's house money, so it's free stock or free fractional shares, so I'll just let that ride for the long term. Don't have to worry about it. Then I sold one share of FUV for $12.28. I took a small loss on this one, so I wasn't able to swing trade it and get any profit. Then I purchased $8.54 of PLTR. That came from me selling one share out of my Ameritrade account for $27.20. So my profit was $8.54. So it was nice to build my position up in PLTR. This is a new SPAC, and I seen it doing pretty good for the long term, so it's always nice to add to that position. Then I purchased $8.43 of Virgin Galactic. That's SPCE. I sold one share out of my Ameritrade account. It doesn't display the price for some reason. Okay, but my profit was $8.43. I always like to add to SPCE. It's something I swing trade quite a bit. I own a lot of fractional shares in different brokerages, and SPCE is something that's going to blow up once they get these flights off and running. Then Workhorse, I sold one share at $21.78. This one I took a loss. Workhorse has been beaten down. I bought this in November, and it hasn't done good since. Then MAXR, I bought $9.73. That came from me selling one share out of my Ameritrade account for $37 even, and $9.73 was my profit. Then in my stash account, I purchased $2 of CELH. That came from me selling one share out of my Ameritrade account for $36.38, and $2 was my profit. Then I sold one share of Upwork. Again, it doesn't display the selling amount, but I lost 30-40 cents on that trade. Then I purchased one share of Pfizer out of my stash app for $4.12. That came from me selling one share of PFE out of my Ameritrade account at $41.12. So I had a profit of $4.12. This is also a position I like to build up on. With the vaccines and stuff like that hitting the market, I should make some gains off that house money trade. Then I sold one share of Li Auto at $31.36. This is my biggest loser. I lost about 10 or 15, maybe 20 bucks on this trade. I bought this in November as well, and Li Auto's been beaten down as well, with along with Workhorse. Then I purchased Foot Locker, $3.52 out of my stash account. That came from me selling one share of Foot Locker out of my Ameritrade account for $42.03. So my profit was $3.52. Then as this Vanguard ETF, I purchased $2 worth in my public account, and that's VEA. I sold one share out of my Ameritrade account for $46.51. So $2 was my profit. Then United States Steel, this one did really well. I pulled out my principal on my Cash App, which was $47, and my profit on this swing trade was about 30 something bucks. Then I sold out of CCL. I pulled out my principal of $48. The profit on this one was about 20 bucks or so. And these two, if you don't know, on Cash App, when you pull your principal, it automatically lets you leave your gains in the market. It doesn't matter the amount at all. And then Resolve Group, same thing. Pulled out my principal, $49. I made about 15-20 bucks in this trade as well. So these three, I have some nice house money riding in them. And then F Beauty, I took about a 70-something cent loss on this one. I pulled out my principal. My initial investment was $50, so I pulled out what I had left was $49.29. And this is a nice long-term play that I like to build up on. So, of course, I wasn't able to swing trade that. Wells Fargo, I put out my principal of $51. I did make a profit on this as well, and it was left into the Cash App. Then on Cash App, I pulled out some principal of $207.80. And then on my M1 Finance account, I sold $236 worth, which this one I have 100 shares, all at 1% a piece. So it's going to pull out a certain amount out of each 100 shares to keep the portfolio balanced. You can just take a look at some of the ticker names that I have here and kind of get an idea of the type of stocks I invest in, like 3M, Cat, Honeywell, Union Pacific, Target, Ecolab, KMB, Pepsi, T-Rowe, Snap, Johnson & Johnson, Vanguard, ETS, Brookshire Hathaway, Beyond Meat. You got Visa, JP Morgan, UPS, McDonald's, Extra Space, Nike, Whirlpool, Intuit, Linen Tree, Starbucks, Apple, Disney, Facebook, Spotify, Etsy, DocuSign, TDoc, Fiverr, PayPal, TQQQ, Roku, Lulu, Datadog, and that's just to name a few. I did pull out some principal out of my M1 Finance, which was $379.05. Then on my public account, I purchased $3 worth of Pipeline, PBA. That came from me selling a share of PBA out of my Moomoo account at a price of $27.10, so my profit was $3. Bank of America, I purchased $1.43 in my stash account. That came from me selling a share of Bank of America out of my Moomoo account for $28.57, so my profit was $1.43. Then AT&T, I purchased $2.62 in my stash account. That came from me selling one share of AT&T out of my Moomoo account for $31.01. So of course my profit was $2.62. And that was the 20 trades I made today. If you don't know, the strategy I have for this challenge is me putting some capital into the market for about 30 to 90 days, withdrawing that capital, and then leaving my gains in the market, hence the name House Money. At that point, there's zero risk involved in these stocks, and they're all pretty much free fractional shares. Now, some of these amounts may seem like small amounts. They will add up over time. I have about 10 brokerages and a total of about $8,000 to $10,000 worth of House Money, which is all free shares that I got from using this strategy since June of this year. So it's been 6 months, and I've accumulated that much capital of really free capital using this strategy. If you like what I'm doing here, you can subscribe and hit the bell, follow my journey. Also, if you like the video, hit the thumbs up, leave any comments. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. You can also follow my channel. You don't have to use my strategy. If you do, you can use less money or more money than what I'm using. If you don't want to use a strategy, you can look at the tickers that I'm posting. Research those tickers and invest for the long term. You can swing trade them, day trade them, stuff like that, because everything I invest in, I do extensive research on 7 days a week, and I can pretty much tell you that they're all good stocks that I'm investing in. So that'll be it for today's video. I'll catch you guys in the next one.